Well, obviously, this is the first video of this channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Premier League predictions of where every team in the league will finish. Now, when I look back on this will probably be either terrible or really good. It's very unpredictable this year, and because it's before the transfer window, I'm going to do another one when the transfer window ends to see if any of my picks have changed. So when we look back at this at the end of the season, we'll see how well I did. And let's get into it. At 20th, I think Brentford will finish 20th because I think they try and play a bit. They're going to try and play a bit too expansive for their first season in the Premier League. It's just going to require a lot of concentration. Teams are going to want to press them. They're going to open themselves up a bit too much to be pressed. Like you can see, like for example, I saw in the game they faced against West Ham when they lost 1-0, Said Benrahma scored against his former club right at the end. I think it was Ethan Pinnock that gave it away from them trying to play out from the back. They do have some attacking threat, like Mbeumo, I think that's how you pronounce his name, Ivan Toney, and Baptiste, who scored like a really good goal against Manchester United in their 2-2 friendly. Now that was against like Man United's B team, kind of, because they had like Andreas Pereira also scored a good goal that day, and Jesse Lingard and Tayden Mengi and all these people. But at the end of the day, I just think they'll be a bit lost in this league. I don't actually know why. They are so like overrated before the league has started. I think out of all teams people are predicted to get relegated, I think most people have predicted Brentford to stay up. I would like Brentford to stay up because it's taken them this long to get into their first season of the Premier League, but I don't think that will happen. At 19th, Norwich are going straight back down in my opinion. I think after losing like someone like Buendia, which is a very key player to them, I just think they'll be lost as well. They're going to be going straight back down. It's like when Fulham came back up last year, they're going to go straight back down. They play better football than Fulham, and they still have players like Todd Cantwell, who still could be leaving for someone like Aston Villa, but I reckon he'll stay. Max Aarons, I don't know how he's still at the club. I don't think Pukki will get off into a whole season of great goals. I think he's championship standard. I think we saw that in the 1920 season when he got off to that really good start, and like he just fell from grace from there. Again, would love for all the promoted teams to stay up, but it's going to be very hard for them. Now you might think I've gone with Watford at 18th. I've gone with Southampton. The reason why I've gone with Southampton is because they're literally losing all their best players. Like, I don't know, on the same day Jack Grealish and Lionel Messi made their moves, Danny Ings made a move to Aston Villa, and it was like out of the blue, like not even Fabrizio Romano even like tweeted about it. It was so secretive. And as I'm recording this right now, Vestergaard is actually in Leicester to move to Leicester City to complete his move. And with also they are likely losing James Ward-Prowse, and Ryan Bertrand has left, although they've replaced him. It's like a good core of the club that's gone. They've signed Theo Walcott on a permanent deal, which is good for them because I thought he played okay for them. It's still not enough though, and they also played really, really bad for a good second half of the season. And even with Takumi Minamino, who played well for them, they're not trying to sign him on a permanent deal. He's gone back to Liverpool, and I don't think Liverpool are going to let him go. So unless they pull something out of the bag, I don't think it'll be a good future for them. At 17th, Watford. And I think a lot of people are predicting Watford to go down, but in my opinion, Watford have enough to stay up. There are people like Ismail Assar, who's a good attacking threat. Troy Deeney and Ben Foster are very experienced in this league. Jeremy Ngaki, who played for West Ham for a bit, he should have a good season as well. They brought in signings like Danny Rose, who are also very experienced in the league, which should help them. I think you need that experience in that league. But I feel like they will get battered by a lot of teams, but they will just about stay up. I feel like it will be a good battle between them and Southampton. At 16th, Burnley. Burnley are the new Stoke. Like, they don't really do much. They're kind of just there. And you don't want to be a team that's kind of just there. And with minimal investment, Sean Dyche's just not really doing much. He signed Nathan Collins from Stoke, but I don't even think he's going to play because he's a centre-back, and I'm pretty sure unless Ben Mee or Tarkowski get injured, he's not really going to get much of a game. So yeah, a boring 16th place for Burnley. Now originally I had Crystal Palace to get relegated as soon as I heard Patrick Vieira was going to be their manager, but I think they'll finish 15th purely because I think there are teams that are worse than them. I don't know much about Patrick Vieira's style of football, but I've heard he does want to play out from the back as well, which is also risky. When teams like this play out from the back, you need good players on the ball. I'm not totally convinced by Joaquim Anderson on the ball, but Mark Guehi is a good signing. Conor Gallagher is a good signing. He can't play in the first game because he's on loan from Chelsea, and obviously they're facing Chelsea. Wilfred Zaha still kind of has to force a move out if he ever wants to get a chance of leaving. That's not going to happen. So yeah, comfortable 15th place for Crystal Palace. I don't think Christian Benteke will get onto a big run of form either. 14th Newcastle. Despite their terrible ownership, I think Newcastle will actually be in a better position than people think, because I think it's natural to be pessimistic when you have that ownership. There was rumours about Alexei Maximin wanted to go. I'm pretty sure he's going to stay. Joe Willock looks like he's moving there. That will, if he carries on that purple patch that he had on the back end of last season, I'm pretty sure he'll be fine. And Callum Wilson, as long as he stays fit, he'll be fine. I don't think Joe Linton will get onto a good run of form, but I think they'll just carry on playing a low block. I think Steve Bruce is a bit of a fraud, but yeah, I think comfortable 14th for Newcastle. Now I've gone with Brighton 13th, and I think I'm mainly basing it off the fact that they need to learn from last season, play great football, create a lot of chances, but they have Neil Maupay and Danny Welbeck up front. Now Danny Welbeck is decent. I'm not too confident in Neil Maupay. Like, if they can sign like an Eddie Nketiah, who's not the greatest, but he's got the energy to convert chances as well, with Leandro Trossard up front. Or they sign like Odsane Edouard, it'll be better than what they have right now. But we can't keep talking about their XG if they're not going to convert anything. So yeah, 30 for Brighton. 12th, I'm going to go Wolves. Now, I reckon the Wolves are a bit of it could go anywhere. It could go anywhere for them. They could be competing back for Europe. I highly doubt it. Or they could be fighting for relegation battle purely because with the new manager, it takes a big thing out of their side. And Pedro Neto is injured for a while. They've still got a good chunk of their players. I don't know whether Adama Traore is going to leave, but it looks like they're going to carry on with the same formation, so I don't think they'll be as effective. And Raul Jimenez still has half a head, so I don't know whether he'll convert as many chances, but Wolves will finish 12th. 11th, I think it will be Everton. The morale in that club is already a bit low, but Rafa Benitez managing Everton is just a bit stupid. It looks like they're going to struggle having a striker up front straight away. I don't know whether Richarlison will be fit for the first game, mainly because he was just at the Olympics for Brazil. Dominic Calvert-Lewin's injured, and Moise Kean wants to leave, so you never know. But they need to get some goals this season. Otherwise, it's not looking good for them. All right, at 10th is the club that I support. I said West Ham. Now, I was actually really struggling between 10th and 6th on what clubs to put in, and you'll see what clubs I put above West Ham in a minute, up to the 6th place. I'm putting us 10th because I don't think we're going to invest that much in the transfer window, and we still have one striker, which is ridiculous. With terrible ownership, you can't really do much. Obviously, David Moyes has said he wants competition in the squad, but right now, compared to last season with our squad, we have lost Jesse Lingard, and we have signed an extra goalkeeper, which we did need, but it's not enough. A striker is the biggest priority for me, but it looks like we're actually least likely to sign anyone else. But yeah, I'm going to put us 10th. With European football, we're going to have to use a lot of the youngsters. We're going to have to just... there's going to be a lot of injuries. So I think 10th, as much as I would love to compete for Europe. 9th, Aston Villa. I don't think they'll be at 6. I was slightly believing the hype when they got Danny Ings, but losing Jack Grealish is it's a big part of where they're going to finish next season. It's kind of like they were relying on him too much. So I think signings like Leon Bailey, Emi Buendia, Axel Tuanzebe, etc. They've done some really good business, but it's just the fact that when you lose your best player, it's very hard to replace them. As much as they've done good business, will it work out? I think it'll take some time to adjust. At 8th, Leeds. I think Leeds are a very good team. Not much depth, but Marcelo Bielsa, a good coach. They'll concede a lot of goals though, I reckon, because they create a lot of space up front, which allows teams to counter-attack against them. It's kind of easy to score goals against them, as we saw from last season. I reckon they need to do what they did at the back of the last season, the games against Man City, Chelsea and Man United, where they fix up their defence for most of the game, but at the end of the day, it's not looking good, because they've still got only one striker, and relying on Rodrigo for goals is really a great option. So I think 8 for Leeds, and I don't think any higher. At 7th, I'm going to go with Spurs. Now, the reason why I'm going with them with 7th, I reckon Harry Kane will stay, but I don't reckon his head will be in the right place. Obviously, they've got Nuno Espirito Santos as a new manager. I don't think there was any point of sacking Jose Mourinho when about 15 managers reject you. But at the end of the day, they have a good enough players to score a bunch of goals, but their defense looks shocking. Romero still doesn't have a partner, unless they want to play Tanganga or Road on there, because if you're still going to play Davinson Sanchez or Eric Dyer, it's not going to work out. At 6, I'm saying Arsenal. Mainly because they don't have European football. I don't think they actually have a good enough manager or good enough squad to compete for the top 4. But I reckon they'll go back to where Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang might pick up some form, and they'll get carried like they did in their FA Cup run when he carried them to that final and they won it in the end. But they still have a lot of business to do. Who's going to play right back? Are you still going to go Hector Bellerin, who can still play with Cedric? Are you still going to play with Ainsley Maitland-Niles? There's still a lot of people that need to leave. So I reckon 6 for Arsenal, Europa League spot. I reckon from their standards of the past few seasons, they're going to have to be happy with that. Although they've kind of accepted mediocrity after accepting that Arteta is their manager. They're not really doing anything about it. Not that they can, but it's just the fact that if you're going to put up with a manager like that, I feel like you kind of just given up and you kind of just accepted mediocrity. At 5th, none other than Leicester. Now, Leicester cemented that spot for a while, and I just think they're destined to be in 5th. It's destined for Brendan Rodgers to bottle it again for the top 4. I reckon they'll be in the top 4 for a while, and then I would reckon from February onwards, they will just slip up again. They always do good business. They're about to sign Vestergaard. They've signed Samare, Patson Daka. Sounds some really good players, but they just need to get into that top 4 just to break their duck. But I don't think it will happen because of the 4 clubs above them have just got more quality. Speaking of 4th, Liverpool I put 4th. The reason why I put them 4th is because they don't have enough depth, and it doesn't look like their owners are backing Klopp. And obviously Klopp has come out and said that if we don't need to sign any more players, but obviously you're going to say that with your ownership at the club, then they're clearly not backing him, and it's kind of sad to see. And also in the African Cup of Nations, they're going to lose Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mane, so they're going to have to play either Harvey Elliott, Diogo Jota on the wings, or Takumi Minamino if he's still there. But it because of their depth, it's not looking good for them. And after losing Wijnaldum, they still haven't really had a replacement. Will Thiago step up? I have no clue. I don't think he will. Alright, at 3rd, I've said Man United. I still think after the business of Rafael Varane and Jadon Sancho, they still need to do a bit more business. Will they keep Diego Dalot to compete with Wan-Bissaka. Will they sign a midfielder? I don't think Fred and McTominay, like, obviously, they're both sideways passers. They both defend really good. They were both originally box-to-box midfielders, so now they both sit. I don't think they'll play 4-3-3. I think they'll go back to 4-2-3-1. But I think they still need another attacking player because Martial's injured. Martial might get injured again. Cavani might get injured again. Rashford has had to do surgery. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. They'll probably put Mason Greenwood out as the number 9 a bit more. I reckon Paul Pogba might play on the left a bit more and have Fred and McTominay in the pivot, but I don't think that's going to be good enough to have you competing for titles. At number 2, I put Man City. Now, as good as the signing of Jack Grealish is, that could easily win them the title. They still need a striker. I don't think playing with the false 9 system's actually going to carry them to the first place. Unless they play Gabriel Jesus and he steps up, I doubt he will. He hasn't really stepped up that much. He does do the job sometimes, but I would have just gone with the Harry Kane signing instead of Jack Grealish. That should have been priority. As much as stingy as Daniel Levy is at Tottenham, that would have been a better signing. Like, they could throw a lot of money at that. Apparently, they're still confident of getting him, according to The Athletic, but I don't see it personally. But I think they have enough depth to compete for the title, and it will be a 2-horse race. And at first, in that other 2-horse race, I put Chelsea. They're outside Lukaku. All they needed was goals. Like, that's all they really needed. All they needed was goals, and Romelu Lukaku will get you goals. Now, with the options of Pulisic, Lukaku, Mount, Werner, Havertz, Hudson-Odoi, the list goes on. They've got a lot of depth, and especially if they sign Jules Koundé to strengthen their defence even more, then they're basically going to run away with it. But we'll see at the end of the transfer window. I'll come back to this to see if I'm going to change anything due to the transfers, because you never know. And it's still very early right now, recording this on a Thursday just before the Brentford Arsenal game tomorrow, although this video will come out on a Thursday as well. But yeah, tomorrow you will see game week predictions of the first week of the season. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this predictions video. If you agree with me, that's good. Comment down below. If you disagree, comment down below. All of that stuff. Share the video and all that stuff. And yeah, hope you enjoyed.